So what's up? This is Nate Figaro with 8020 Creole Barbecue, and this is the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to Black Smoke Barbecue. We are a collaborative group that focuses on different aspects of barbecue from pitmasters from all across North America. Barbecue is a culture, and we discuss topics, ideas, and the methods of it on the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. Our mission is to spotlight those lesser-known content creators in backyard barbecue, catering, food truck operations, as well as the African-American experience in modern-day barbecue. Sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. My name is Charlie Maverick, and I'm with Maverick Barbecue, and we are here for another podcast. We have a great guest with us. First, let me go to the guys on the panel. T with T-Dub Barbecue. How you doing, brother?
What's happening, man? What's happening? Doing all right, man. Doing pretty good.
How's the weather your way?
Today it was hot. For the first time in a couple of days, we did not have any rain, but I'm anticipating we may have some this weekend. But yeah, man, that rain was very much so needed. We had like a little drought going on. Everything's looking lovely and green, but like I said, today was hot.
Yeah. The weather is ridiculous in the South, and I think everybody can speak to that on the pod for the most part. What you been cooking, man?
The last thing I did was a smoked macaroni and some jerk chicken thighs.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, did that over the weekend, man. When I tell you, man, I did about a 48-hour marinade.
48 hours?
Yeah. I still haven't done that recipe yet I told you about, but I think I'm gonna do that next with either some wings. Yeah, some wings. I'm gonna do that with some wings.
All right. That sounds good, man. What else you been up to?
Hey, man. Same old, man. One day trying to stay dry, next day trying to stay cool. But I'm enjoying the summer, man. I prefer when it cools off, but yeah, it's been a pretty good summer.
You know, I saw a post today that I think tomorrow starts football season, technically.
That's right.
Ready. So It's about that time of year. Oh,
yeah. I just
got the Eagles behind you right there.
Hey, I just got excited about fantasy football, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, I remember those leagues. I haven't played in a while, man. Yeah, you see the Patriots back here. I'm still trying to figure that out, but hey, it's all good. You know, we're just marking it right now that it's the time of the year where grilling gets really, really, really popping.
Oh yeah,
you know, it starts to cool off and that smoke gets in the air.
Everybody
gets in the vibe. Oh, yep. Tailgating. Yes, sir. It's a whole vibe out there, man. Yeah. Hey, glad you're on the pod, man. Hey, we got Greer. We call him Greer, but he is Jeffrey with Grill and Smoke Barbecue, man. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. Chill as always.
Chill in the heat. That's all right.
It is hot in Texas. It's real hot here.
Oh, yeah. I know. Hey, man. So what you been up to lately?
Getting my mind right because I got to go back to work tomorrow. It's hard, man, going back to work when you've been off for the whole summer. So,
yeah,
I got to get it right.
Hey, man, you got to get that mind right. Does it feel like Sunday?
Every day.
Every day.
Until next summer, every day going to feel like Sunday.
It's rough, man. Hey, but you're doing good work, man. You know, you're developing the minds of the future. So we appreciate you, you know?
That's what I do.
You got any great cooks in lately, man?
I did some pulled chicken. Last cook I did turned out pretty good. You know, try some new stuff from like Heath Riles. It was pretty good. It was better than I was thinking it was going to be, but trying to figure out what I'm gonna put on there next. You know, try to see what the people want to see.
Hey, you said last time that we talked that you was going to do a brisket. So what else?
Yeah, but you know, right now, see the way I want to do things and the way life want me to do things, we ain't always eye to left, ain't talking to the right. So what I got coming up is going back to work, getting my daughter down to Texas A&M, moved in. So probably after that, then I have some time to mess with the damn brisket. But right now, brisket ain't on that. It ain't up here.
No, I'm just saying, you said it.
Other things.
You said it. I'm just saying. All right.
I'm gonna get it though. Hey, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get before the end of August. It's gonna be a done deal.
All right, you heard it
Putting
here.
it in the air, man.
right.
You
God
heard it
got
here.
my back.
Now, when that don't happen, we're gonna call you out on that because you put it on wax. But we ain't gonna hold it against you. We ain't gonna take it personal. We know that you're raising the young youth with the mods and everything. But hey, man, great having you on the pod. Listen, people, we have a special guest co-host with us today. We put him in the Black Smoke Barbecue, Hall of Fame because he's the most recurring guest that we have had thus far. And man, every time he delivers, man. We love this guy, friend of the pod. We got Joey Victorian on the pod, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Just got here to the restaurant. My week is about to start right now in a little bit once we get off, but just rocking and rolling, man. Just doing what I could do when I could do it,
Hey, man, I'm telling you. Hey, so the last time we talked, you had it was before the event that you had with Cedric and Anthony Anderson. So
Yeah.
how did that go, man?
Oh man, that was a blast. Those guys are what you see on TV is exactly how they are. Cedric's mannerisms, his jokes, his this that. And what I found most shockingly was Anthony Anderson's loud laugh is real. Like that's how
Yeah.
he laughs all day long, every day, and it's loud. So yeah, man. So I went from the spectrum. I went from that event to Windy City Smokeout in Chicago. It was like a week or two later after that, and we had a lot of fun. And I'm happy to be here with you guys. Especially happy to be able to conversate with my boy Nate right now. So looking forward to this.
Yeah, you're on here because you're good friends with the with our guest tonight, and the vibe felt right. So thank you for being on, man. Taking out the time to come on our pod, and it just feels great to have you a part of the family, man.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
for the invite.
what else has been going on with you, man? Not just the events, but just you in general, the business.
Trying to survive the summer, man. Barbecue restaurants in the summertime aren't as busy as you think. People are waiting for it to cool down. People are on vacation. People are getting back from vacation. People are getting ready for school. So just trying to stay afloat from that lull and everything. And it picks back up at the end of August, beginning of September.
Yes. So, hey, now is the point where I remind you guys before we introduce our special guest tonight to follow, like, and subscribe to the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast everywhere. YouTube is where we have the visuals, and your favorite podcast application like Spotify, Apple Podcast. Just follow us everywhere, share with your friends and family, and leave us a nice rating, comment on the YouTube video, and we'll communicate with you. And hey, we just like to chop it up in the comments like we always do with you great people. So thank you for making this podcast great, and let's go tonight. So hey, without any further ado, I want to introduce you to a man that currently lives in North Carolina, but he was born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana. He is the Kingsford Preserve the Pit Grand Recipient of 2022 and the Preserve the Pit Fellow of 2023. He is the man that is the owner of 8020 Creole Barbecue, none other than Nate Figaro. How are you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing great. After an introduction like that, you can give Shaq Sharp run for his money, man.
I'm trying to, hey, I'm trying to get his, his pant socks game up. So we have a lot to cover with you. First of all, I wanna ask you first and foremost, what got you into barbecue in general?
So really what got me started in barbecue was, this was like 7 years ago. It had been a long week at work. Like we were slammed, we were short staffed. It was the end of the week, and I was just really stressed. And I was like, man, I just want some barbecue. I went over to Home Depot, saw like a $35 bullet smoker, small little, probably like that big. Yeah. Picked it up, went to Walmart, got pork shoulder. And on the way back to the apartment, I was like, man, I'm gonna smoke this thing tomorrow morning. And I got to the apartment and the weather felt so nice. I was like, I'm doing this today. I'm doing it right now. And it was like 5:00 in the afternoon. And I stayed up all night with that thing, went back and forth to Walmart getting wood chips, ran out of wood chips, ran out of charcoal. Temperature was all over the place. But I finally got done with it, sat down, bit into it. I was happy with it. It was not the best. I will fully admit that it was not the best barbecue, clearly, because it was my first pork butt. And after that, man, it's been a passion. It's been a drive ever since then. It hasn't stopped. It's only gotten bigger.
Yeah. So, you had your first independent cook. Tell us about that.
So clearly, I should have listened to my first intuition and just done it the next day in the morning. Start early in the morning as opposed to doing it at 5:00 in the afternoon. First thing I should have done. I thought the entire process was just mind blowing. Like there was never a dull moment. I mean, that thing cooked all the way till like Saturday, like mid morning, like 10 o'clock, like 11 o'clock. But during that entire process, I was happy. I was ecstatic. I felt like I was really in my zone, and it wasn't until the very end after I got done taking that first bite, I was like, all right, like this tastes good, but I know I could do so much better. Like I know I can do better. At that point, I didn't know the whole entire, if you're able to pull the shoulder blade out, then you cooked it all the way through. Like, like it's done, it's tender. Right? Like whenever I was pulling that thing, it was not shredded. It was like chunks of pork, like coming off the bone. Like I had to use like a fork and really dig that fork in there and pull it. So probably shouldn't have ate that pork, but I did. Definitely didn't give it to anybody else. I was the only person that ate it. Did not get sick. Definitely was not the traditional kind where you remove the blade and it just falls apart like butter. But yeah, ever since I got done with that one pork butt, I started getting barbecue cookbooks from used bookstores, going online. And like I said, it's just, that entire cook, it took forever, but I was happy doing it every single hour I was out there, going up and down those staircases, getting no sleep. Did not care. It was a blast.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you're loving it, man, you got to keep going, man. So tell me, how do you and Joey know each other? Where did that connection happen?
Well, that connection happened through, was it Instagram? Instagram, yeah. I started following him. Around the time I started following him, he still had his trailer. And I reached out to him and I asked him a question about selling barbecue rubs in the store. And I was like, hey, I got my own barbecue rub. I was thinking about selling in the store. Actually, before that, whenever I found out that Joey was Creole, I was like, hey, like, I'm from Louisiana, I'm Creole too. And that's kind of how we hit it off.
Ah, okay.
Us being, light skinned with beard, both good looking guys, like where else could we be from but from Louisiana? I mean, come on,
Okay.
But yeah, I just reached out to him and he kind of told me about like his family history, about his grandfather and whatnot, and him like growing up in Louisiana and me growing up in Louisiana, obviously. And we just hit off, I asked some questions. Like I said, I asked some questions about, getting barbecue rubs to the store because I was interested in that. And what I really appreciated about Joey was he was upfront and honest with his experience with, getting his barbecue rubs at the store and some of the pros and cons. Fortunately, it sounded like there were a lot of cons whenever I spoke to Joey compared to the pros, So I really appreciated his honesty and just being so open to whatever question I had.
Yeah. Hey, Joey, tell us about that experience interacting the first time with Nate. How was that?
It was like I was looking in the mirror, man, because my beard was a lot darker back then. Too. He was able to relate to a lot of stories that I have about my past and about, growing up in Louisiana and things like that. And he had the same passion as I had and the same flavors and everything else. And he showed interest on really my story also, again, also about the seasoning and there was some stuff, I tell people all the time, it was cool at first, but in the end, I wish I would have almost never done it because I would have made more money, especially nowadays with social media. I would have made more money just selling it myself because the stores will beat you down on margin. So and that's what I want to pass on to people, and I don't have any secrets. If they ask, just like Nate did, I'm willing to let them know, man. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. So speaking of the rub, Nate, tell us about the 80/20 Creole barbecue rub, because I believe you tried to mirror that from your grandfather's barbecue.
Yep, that's right. So growing up in Louisiana, my grandfather, he predominantly did all the cooking whenever we had like family functions, right? And just to kind of go a little bit further back, just to kind of give you a visual. So his house, so like nowadays we have what's called like our man cave, right? We got like the 70-inch TV, like we got everything decked out with like what we like, with like the best and everything, right? At that time, his man cave he had a brick and mortar pit built inside the house.
Wow.
Yeah, this was
dope.
way before. Yeah, clearly this was way before HOA fees. Like,
right. There's no way they're approving that.
We're even like going around. There was nothing called an HOA because nowadays they'd have been like, you can't do that. But no, I mean, it was him and another gentleman built this brick and mortar pit inside the wall of the house. He had an exhaust fan that would pull the smoke. So no matter how much meat or how much wood he throw in that pit, he had that vent. So that room never got smoked. It smelled delicious. It was like pecan and oak wood, but never got smoked. And I just remember as a child, he would pick me up, and the way it was shaped was like a traditional pit that you would cook a hog on. The only difference is instead of having one sheet of metal, he had two sheets with handles. So whenever he went to open it, he would grab it and then he would lift it open. So you'd be able to look down into the pit. Right now, as a kid, I'm freaking out because it's like dark and there's smoke and I was like fire. And I'm like, whoa, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, that's scary. But the older and older I got, I started to miss that the more I got into barbecue, and I really missed that flavor. So, I was, at the time, she was my girlfriend. And I remember we were just sitting there and I was like, all the barbecue in Tennessee is good, but it doesn't taste like the barbecue that I grew up eating. And then she was like, well, why don't you just like make your own barbecue? And I was like, well, why don't I just make my own rub? And that's how it all started. It was just flavor profiles that were strictly representative of Louisiana, being like, obviously, like spices, herbs, and, being Creole, obviously having different influences from the islands, from Europe, from Native Americans, and, Spanish, and, as well. So I took everything that I remember his barbecue tasting like. It took me about 7 months to make a batch of rub that I felt was pretty good. Had a lot of people at work try different kind of rubs. They liked it. And then one guy was like, hey, you need to sell this.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's see what happens. Start right there.
So I'm wondering, well, I'm pretty sure everybody's probably wondering, 80/20, where did that come from?
Yeah. So 80/20 is my philosophy whenever it comes to flavor profile. 80% means the flavor of the beef, the flavor, whatever that protein is. And then 20% of the flavor should come from the rub. A lot of people, I'll just say, for example, like competition style barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Majority of their rubs are heavy on salt, brown sugar, white sugar. And then whenever it comes to the sauce, like sauce is going to be super sweet. So you really can't taste the meat itself, but you can taste the rub and the sauces. For me, I'm like, listen, if I'm gonna cook a brisket for 12 hours or a pork butt or a chicken or something like that, like I want to taste the meat. The flavor should be there to enhance. The rub should be there to enhance the flavor of the meat, especially nowadays since meat is so expensive. Like,
Oh yeah.
why am I going to go pay $104 for a brisket, sit down, eat it after 14 hours, and the only thing I could taste is, like garlic and black pepper. Like, I want to be able to taste the meat. And then the rub just complements that flavor. So that's where I get 80. 80% of the flavor comes from the meat, 20% comes from the rub.
I like that. To your point, I think a lot of people get carried away with, especially when it comes to these different sauces and things, just dousing the meat in it, dousing it in it. It's like, yeah, you can taste that. That tastes good. But what does the meat taste like? And, a lot of times people use those things to try to hide that they messed up. So it kind of gets a bad name. So I really appreciate that you got that 80-20 concept. Now you talked about brisket, and I noticed that you teach brisket classes. How did that come about?
That was me just going out and being like, listen, let me try to do this and see what happens. So the story behind that is I've been in North Carolina, or I've been in Nightdale for over a year now. So a few months ago, I came across this barbecue supply store in Durham called Original Grills. And I was like, it'd be really cool if I could do like a demo over there with them. So drove over there, met with the owner, super nice guy. His staff was really cool. And I was like, hey, I just want to talk to you and see if you're interested in maybe having me do a demo here one day. And he was like, yeah, sure. It's a great idea. So we sat down, we kind of hashed out, like the layout, who's going to pay for this, who's going to pay for that, dates, times. And then in a matter of like 2 weeks, I had my first, cooking demo showing people how to break down a whole chicken and how to spatchcock it and then how to smoke it.
With the brisket, that's a long cook. So how does that class run?
Yeah, so the brisket class, that's what we consider like a specialty class because it takes so long. And I mean, we all know brisket is, if not the most expensive, one of the most expensive barbecue proteins.
Yeah.
So with that, what I do is the class is on a Saturday. I'll cook it Friday. I'll cook it Friday. And then once it's reached the temperature that I like, from there, I'll go ahead and I'll either set my oven to the lowest setting and I'll just hold it in there the entire night until the next day. And that's how I do it. So by the time, whenever I'm getting ready for class, I'll go ahead and I'll start the grill up, but I don't need the grill to be like 250 or 275. I just need it to be at least like 200, So I'll go ahead and I'll put it in there. I'll put it in the pan. So I'm able to easily, remove it from there. I don't have to worry about like grease spilling all over the place. And so I just cook it the night before. Next day, it's good to go. People were really, really happy with it. It was a really good class. We had tons of fun. It was hot. It was hot, but it was fun. Real fun.
Nice.
I got a question for you, Nate. So I have to ask you because I know what makes me happy. What makes you happy when you barbecue or about barbecue? What do you think about that puts a smile on your face every single time before you cook or even after you cook?
So just in general, whenever I smoke barbecue, it's just I find joy in like cooking for other people. Like how they have like the four love languages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the fifth one for me is cooking. That's mine. Like if I cook for you, like that means I care about you. It means I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if I cook for you and it's not good, then clearly that means I really don't like you that much. But yeah, I mean, like whenever I'm out there on the grill, obviously, like I said, I'm taking my time. Obviously, I'm thinking about, okay, well, what's the next step? What am I going to do in the next 2 hours? How can I make this better? What could I have done differently to yield a better product? I mean, I'm always thinking about like different flavor profiles and just like different things to put on the grill. Like, okay, like what's the next thing I could put on the grill, that nobody's done yet, like those are the kind of things that run through my head, all the way down to depending on what kind of grill or what kind of smoker I use. I always think about, how the airflow is going through, it's just, it's so many things. So many things. That's why every time whenever I do a cook, I'll always pull out my notebook and I'll take detailed notes. So I'm able to look back and see like, okay, like, at the first 2 hours, I did this. Maybe next time I'll do this within the next like 3 hours. So those are just the things that I think about. My mind is all over the place when they're around barbecuing, but most of the time it's something about barbecue.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you.
Did you say you're from Memphis, Tennessee? Or you was in Memphis, Tennessee? What part of Tennessee?
So after Louisiana, sorry, not after, I moved from Lafayette to Nashville.
Nashville. Okay, because I'm from Chattanooga. Every time somebody say Tennessee, I'll be trying to figure out where they were at. So okay, that wasn't too far. You ain't too bad.
I went to school at UT Chattanooga.
Oh yeah. See,
Yeah.
I knew something was good about you, man. Something had to be great.
Go Mox.
Go Mox, man. But now to get back to the topic, sorry. But what was it like working on the food truck?
It was eye-opening whenever I say that. Yeah, it really wasn't anything I expected, but it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. And not just in regards to like food, but just in general, because like working on that food truck, like you really need to understand logistics and how things work. Because the truck that he had, I mean, it was a good sized trailer, but at the time, like I was a big guy and the owner's a big guy too. And then there's another big guy. So if you get like 3 dudes in that trailer, like we're like bumping shoulders. So like you really got to be like really meticulous about your movements and where you place things, so with all your movement, you're efficient with that. Another thing about working on the food truck that I found to be challenging was just, so it's a pro and a con. That makes sense. The pro is you can take that trailer just about anywhere, but con is you can go to 5 different places and you cannot sell well at any of those places. With the trailer, yeah, you have the luxury of pulling up to a brewery and it could be a beautiful day outside and just business is not good. And then it's like, all right, well, let's go somewhere else. All right, you got to go ahead, take that, heavy generator, throw it in the back of the truck, get everything unplugged, put up everything. And then you got to drive it a few miles down to the next location. And that next location may not be promising at all. So I say like, it's a pro that you're able to hop from spot to spot, but it's also a con because that doesn't necessarily guarantee that, you're going to sell the next spot. Brick and mortar, everybody's going to know where you are. Monday through Friday, everybody knows where you are. With the food truck, you have to constantly post where you're going.
How did the pace of working on the food truck shape your cooking?
So the pace working on the food truck really showed me just to keep it simple. Like don't try to have like 15 different items on the menu. Like have your bread and butter. Like have your items that you're known for, the ones that you can knock out of the park anytime, any day, and the ones that people really love. Pulled pork sandwiches with coleslaw. Hey, like we knew those were going to sell. We knew any day, anytime. Pulled pork was going to sell. Brisket was going to sell. Rib tips sold well as well. So really well. But like I said, you just got to keep it simple. That's how it is. At least that's what I saw, and that's what he tried to instill. Don't try to make it all fancy and try these things that you see on Instagram or you see like James Beard nominated chefs or anything like that. Just keep it simple and then just build from there.
So we know that you competed in a few competitions. Tell us about how that was for you. And we know that Joey has competed in some also. So you guys can kind of tell us how that realm, is for you guys.
So whenever I competed, none of them were like on the level of KCBS. I really didn't have a goal to try to get to that level. Just I knew that it was very like meticulous, and if you've never done competition barbecue before, it's expensive. Competition barbecue in general is just expensive. That's the reason why with the ones that I signed up for, most of them already supplied. I was like, cool, I got to pay for that. I was like, all right, I got to pay for the meat.
That's
I
good.
just got to pull up with, my smoker, my rose, my team. Now, those are like few and far in between. But competition barbecue, it's night and day compared to, the barbecue that I do now. I mean, competition barbecue, like they're grading you on flavor profile, they're grading you on presentation, they're grading you on the slices of your lean brisket being like symmetrical with all the other ones in the box. It's more than just using barbecue rubs and sauces. Like they're using a lot of injections, which, honestly, whenever I was going through those competitions, I didn't use injections. I really didn't feel like my barbecue needed injections. That may be the reason why I didn't win that many. But the ones that I did win, I knocked out the park. I knocked out the park. The ones that were, ones that went outside, I knocked them out the park. I did really well. But yeah, I mean, just, after a while, I kind of just looked around and I was like, all right, like, I can't keep on doing this because I'm just throwing away money. It's a lot of work, to walk away and be like, oh, we didn't place. Well, like, you're in a hole. You won nothing. And then I was like, and, the more and more I did them, I was like, it's just, it wasn't profitable and it wasn't as enjoyable as what it was when I first started, even though I only did like 5. I was just like, listen, like, let me just go and let me just continue to make barbecue, work on my craft, and just really get familiar with the process of being able to cook different proteins and just cook them to the absolute best, and not have to rely on rubs and sauces and injections from barbecue tastes great.
All right, man. That's great. So, you said a lot from the financial aspect of it, and that is like a barrier of entry. And my follow-up question to you before we take a break, because, we got to go pay the bill soon, is for those that are trying to get into the competition area of barbecue as in general, what would you have to, what advice would you give to them when they're trying to make that decision of, you may lose a lot, you may actually just win out the gate. How do you weigh that option?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, getting into competition barbecue, looking back at it, something I wish I would have been more aware of or been more strict on was probably budgeting how much I want to spend.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because like I said, I didn't get up to the KCBS level, but if you get up to those levels, like, you're not going to Sam's Club to get a rack of ribs. You're not
Right.
just using, brisket for Kroger's. No, like these guys are, they're pushing out money for high quality primes, neighborhood farms, briskets, pork butt, spare ribs are coming from, out of state, someplace I don't even know, so yeah, I think just budgeting and just really being honest with yourself, being like, listen, like, if I'm going to do this, like, I'm going to give 100% and I'm not going to, can we curse on here?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
Like, I'm going to go all in and I'm not going to half-ass.
Oh, that wasn't bad.
That was an easy one.
Yeah,
that's a TV
fine.
cuss.
I thought you was going to drop an F-bomb or something.
We're Gen X. That's an easy one, man.
Yeah.
Not today, at least. But I know. I mean, Joey, I'm sure you have more experience than I did. So, like, what are some takeaways looking back at your time in competition?
All I'm gonna say is ditto, and I'll just add, do it because you're having fun. That's pretty much everything you said, and do it until it's not fun for you anymore. And and not being fun, which can boil down to the dollars and cents with things, because when you get discouraged from spending so much money week after week or month after month and not have anything to show for it, you kind of get discouraged. And that's when I stopped. I was winning some, but I just wasn't having fun anymore, just because there was so much drama going on and everything else. And it just wasn't for me anymore. Now I do it. I can care less if I win or not. I'm going out there to drink beer with my friends, play my fiddle if I can, sing some songs, and cook some meat. That's it. I can care less if I win or not.
Yeah, that you just about the vibe right now, right?
Yeah. I have nothing to prove to anyone anymore. That's a young man's game to try to prove themselves.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Well, that was a great perspective both of you gave. So we want to thank Joey Victorian for being our special guest host tonight. Just stick around after the break because we do have to pay some bills. But we are here to highlight the man of the hour, Nate Figaro. We're going to be right back, and stay tuned because Joey has a question coming up, so you don't want to miss that. We're going to pay some bills though. We'll be right back.
We like you to meet Sweet Charlene, the barbecue seasoning created from family bonds that is low in sodium but high in flavor. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned pitmaster. Level up your barbecue game with this dry rub that has amazing taste and great color. Go to EddieWrightBarbecue.com right now and order your choice between the 6-ounce shaker bottle, the 16-ounce bag, or my favorite, the 32-ounce bag, and start rubbing your beef, pork, and poultry the right way.
A revolutionary new grill brush is here, designed to eliminate the dangers associated with traditional wire bristle brushes. Meet the Boyer brush, which will make cleaning fast, easy, and safe. The rust-proof stainless steel spring bristles are designed to withstand failure and last for many years. The Boyer brush is crafted with a heavy-duty, all-metal design that is dishwasher safe. Cleaning your grill with the Boyer brush, while hot, will provide effective cleaning without bristle loss danger. With a long handle for two-handed pressure that provides rapid cleaning that's easy and safe, it's time to say goodbye to the dangers of traditional grill brushes and hello to the last grill brush you will ever buy. Get yours now at BoyerBrush.com.
All right, we are back with the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. Hey, before we go any further, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Black Smoke Barbecue on all the platforms, especially YouTube, and leave us comments so we can talk in the comments. Share how you feel about the show. Hey, and thank you for tuning in everywhere. Leave us a nice review on your favorite podcast platform. We would greatly appreciate it. And interact with us on social media like Instagram. We're here to conversate with you and have some fun in the comments. It's all about live fire, love, and community. And we thank you for tuning in with us today. All right. Now, I know you've been waiting for that question from Joey, so let's get to it.
Nate, I'm a firm believer in finding out from people and giving all the good stuff. But I want to know something a little bit more kind of like an ouch moment or a oh my God moment or anything like that that's happened to you in the past or recently where you're pretty much like, oh shit. That's what I want to know, because we all know in barbecue that it ain't all flowers and daisies and beautiful butterflies. So I want to know a good story from you about your best oh shit moment. Maybe you burned a brisket or was late for a catering or.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, it just all flooded back to him.
Yes, it did. It did. So I had a catering a few months ago. So this year has been this is my first year doing catering. I've only done like 4 catering events. And this was by far the worst event. And I'll be transparent with you 100% this on this story on this podcast and not hold anything back. So I'm a personal trainer, obviously, by day. So the company that I work for, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, you did some tacos a few months ago and the staff really loved it. Could you do a catering event for one of our meetings? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, what kind of meeting? And she's like, well, it's going to be a board meeting with a lot of the local directors. And I was like, okay. And she's like, there are going to be a lot of big names in this meeting that have a lot of pull. So whenever we ask people to do catering for this meeting, they always give their 100. And I was like, yo, like, bet. Like, I always bring my 100. Like, there's no other way to do it. Like, I give
Why
my
are you
all for
telling
it.
me this?
Yeah, exactly. Like this was all through email, and I'm like, you've had my food before. Like, why are you like you would like I wouldn't expect anything less from myself. So I was like, all right, cool. So oh, it was so bad. So
Take your time.
yeah, because it's just thinking about this, just bringing back memories, and I just PTSD or something like that. I guess I don't. So I responded and I was like, hey, like, what's your budget? So she gives me the budget. I was like, all right, cool. Like, here's the menu. Here's the spread. It wasn't anything too outlandish. At least to me, it wasn't anything too outlandish. But there were 2 dishes on there that I had not cooked. We're going to come back to that comment later on. So it was, I know one of them was like a green apple coleslaw. That was one of them. Corn mock shoe, which being from Louisiana, I know Joey knows about corn mock shoe.
Serve it every day.
Serve it every day. And there had to be a vegan. Sorry, there had to be a vegetarian option. Okay. The vegetarian option were mushroom sliders.
Okay.
And then the other one was I think the other one was like a chicken or something. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got it. Go to Sam's Club. Actually order online, go to Sam's Club, pick up all the items I think I need, get back to the apartment. My wife is like, all right, well, I fly out tomorrow. So it's going to be like just you by yourself. And I was like, hey, I got it. Like, it's all good. Everything's going to be okay. So she flies out that day. So next day, I wake up and I start getting things ready. And then I'm doing all the prep. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, I gotta do this, I'm doing that. Let me do this. And the 5 hours that I gave myself to get ready, like those 5 hours turned into what felt like 2 hours. Like time it just passed me like that. And I told him that I was going to drop it off at like 4:15. The coleslaw, I had no recipe for the coleslaw. I winged it. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't you ever try to wing
YouTube,
a
man.
recipe on the fly for a catering event.
Yeah.
Oh, lessons.
I can imagine.
Yes, lessons. Something. Don't ever do that. The mushroom sliders, never did that before. Didn't have a recipe for that. So I winged that as well. So I was late. I was like 30 minutes late. And I'm on the way to the place that I work, and I'm like, I mean, I'm going 80. I'm just, just weaving in and out. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm late. This is a horrible look. So I finally get there and I'm sweating. And then I get to the door and I'm like, hey, she's like, oh, hey, what's up? I said, got the food. She's like, oh, okay, cool. And she's nonchalant about it. Like, oh yeah, no, that's cool. It's all right. So I give him the food, and the director, his name is Dexter. He's a Q. That's all I'm gonna say. He's a Q. So he looks at me. That's all I gotta say. And my dad was a Q, so like they're very similar in ways, but also very different. But if you know Q, how they act, you know how they act. So I drop off the food, and he looks at me and he's like, Nate, he's like, you got utensils, man? And I looked at him and I was like, no. It's like, he looks back in the room and he looks at me and he goes, okay. And I looked at him and I smiled and I was like, okay. And then I left. And that was the longest drive home. And it gets better. Because I get home, and as soon as I walk in that door and I close it behind me, I turn around and I see on the table a pan of food. And I forgot the coleslaw.
Wow.
That's not funny. I'm sorry.
That's why we need women in our lives.
Charlie laughed.
Hey,
Y'all
look,
can
I
laugh
forgot
all
the
you want.
utensils too. I can't. Hey, look, I forgot the utensils one time too, man.
Raise your hand.
Laugh at my pain. So this will happen to nobody else. Laugh at my pain.
Well, it has happened to all of us. So welcome to the
Never got two things that match. Cool, no aid, food, no utensils,
Even drinks.
cereal, no milk.
So a few days later, I go into work, and Dexter, he takes one of my A-Shots classes. And as soon as he walks in, I'm like, oh, shit. I know he's going to say something. I know he's going to say something to me. Like, he's not just going to brush this off and be like, oh, it's okay, Nate. No, that was a board meeting. They had some big names in that office. So after class, Dexter walks up to me and he's like, Nate, he's like, that catering event you did last month. And he looked at me, and he's short. He's shorter than me. But I mean, he's a pretty stout guy. So he's kind of looking up at me, and I kind of look at him, and he's like, it ain't gonna happen again, right? I said, Dexter, I said, it will never happen again. He said, all right, good. I'm glad we're on the same page, Nate. Have a good day.
There you go. I'd have been like, good thing it was finger licking good, man.
Listen, he did. Oh man, that was. Whenever I tell you, I felt this big after that.
And he wanted you to know that he knew.
Yeah.
He really couldn't tell you because you had turned around and head off.
Yeah, no. Like, I avoided him. I was like, yep, I forgot. All right, y'all be good. Bye. No, like, and that was such. It was a hit to the ego, but everything that happened could have been avoided 100%. 100%. If I would have just taken my time the week before, not even the week before, 5 days before, and written out a prep list and a plan of what I was going to do by day leading up to the event, all of that could have been avoided. But I was like, no, I'm just going to try this coleslaw. Never tried this recipe before. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Mushroom sliders? Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and I'll try this time. I ain't got a recipe for it. Don't ever do that. Lord, please don't ever. I learned my lesson. So now I got catering events. All right, I'm going to pick up the food on this day. I'm going to prep this. I'm going to prep that the day before it. Everything is done. The day before the event, it is just the day to get your mind right, and anything that you didn't get done the previous days, get it done that day.
Hey, look, if you folks get nothing out of this episode, just learn that preparation is key.
Yeah.
Preparation is key.
Definitely.
And your wife.
Yes. Hey, look.
Yes, because the catering, because I had a catering before that. That was even bigger than the catering I did for the one at work. And she helped me with that. And we actually had to cook on site.
Yeah.
Which really, if you think about it, that would have been so much more pressure to cook on site in front of strangers and have them walk up to you and be like, oh, like, what are you cooking? Where are you from? Who are you? Like, how stressful that is, as opposed to just cooking at your house and then just dropping off the food.
Hey, this is why she let you, she reminded you she was flying out. Like, hey, just so you remember, I'm not going to be here.
So, I mean, I told her what happened. And she just looked at me and she was like, well, I hope you learned something. And I was like, oh.
I did. You can't leave.
Learn a lot.
Hey, she had to get you sometime. Oh, man. So, direct pivot from that terrible ordeal.
That just brings back, it's just the image of the coleslaw sitting on the table. And I'm just like, damn, I forgot the coleslaw. And then I tasted the coleslaw and I was like, this is not good. And then my wife tasted it and she was like, did you taste it? I was like, yeah. She's like, it's not good, Nate. And I was like, it's not. It's not good.
Blessing in disguise. Look at that. They might have called you the next day.
The food that you did bring.
Huh?
But did they eat the food that you did bring?
You know what? I don't know. Dexter didn't say, "Hey Nate, man, enjoy the food," or "Hey Nate, the food wasn't good." That's still up for debate.
Did they contact you first, or did you contact them first afterwards?
Wait, what's the question again?
Did you contact them first, or did they contact you first afterwards?
I mean, technically, they contacted me because I worked there. So,
well, I mean, yeah, all right. I was wondering if they was like, "Hey, man, that thing was good yesterday, man. Thank you."
No.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. All right, there you go.
Which is even worse because the first time I catered for them, that next day, people were like, "Bro, like that food was good. Like that sauce, how you make that sauce?" There's a guy I work with that after that initial catering event, he was like, "How can I get some of that white barbecue sauce?" He asked me at least 3 times, and I made him some more. But after that second one, he was just ghost. Like only thing I heard was, "Nate, it's not gonna happen again, right?" And I was like, "It's not gonna happen again."
Nate, you got to do a free redo for him, man.
Listen,
Bring
that's
him
not a
some
bad idea. Listen, that's not a bad idea if they reach out to me.
I just drop the bottle when I go to work with baby. Like, here, my bad.
Hey, just say, "Look at me now." Right.
Bad idea.
Sometimes you got to remind them that you the same guy that they met, man. You're like, hey, I don't know what happened, but here you go, guys.
Yeah, Jordan missed the free throw.
Hey. now speaking of right. Oh man. So speaking of direct pivots, like I mentioned earlier, so from that ordeal, tell us about the journey to being the Kingsford Preserve the Pit Grand Recipient of 2022, and then the follow up the next year being the fellow.
Oh my God, man. I like just to look back on that, it's still crazy. Because I never I never thought I would have won or gotten the grand in 2022. And then to follow up and and become part of the program in 2023, I would have not have thought that was possible. To be honest with you. I'm like, yo, like, what's going on here? Like, did this really happen? But yeah, I mean, I still remember that day whenever I got the email, and I mean, the reason why 2023 was so special compared to 2022 was because switching. The reason why 2022 was so special was because my dad passed away in 2020 from cancer. And every time I would go home to Nashville, at least 2 or 3 days before, he would call me and be like, "Hey, you gonna cook a brisket while you're down here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll cook a brisket." He's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "What size brisket you want?" I'm like, "Where are you?" He's like, "Me and your mom are at Kroger right now. We're looking at me for a brisket. What size you want, man?"
They were going to supply to me.
Like, yeah, so he's sending me pictures of brisket. She's sending me pictures. Well, this brisket is 98 cents off. This one's like, this one's 15 pounds. What do you think about this one? So long story short was, whenever I found out in 2022, I got it. I was actually sitting in his favorite chair that he wanted me to buy whenever I got my first house.
Wow.
And I remember sitting there reading that, being in his chair. Like, this was the chair that only he sat in whenever he came to Chattanooga. And like, whenever that happened, like, I teared up. I was like, this cannot be possible. Like, this, it just can't be possible. And then the follow up in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. And then the follow up in 2023, I was like, whoa, like, what's going on here? Like, did they not have many people like apply this year? Like, what's going on? And then they told us the number, and I was like, oh, wow. And at that point, I remember talking to myself like, okay, Nate, like, you have something special. Like, there's something about you that makes you special for them to choose you to be part of the program the following year, the next year. I'm not trying to like, like sound like I'm being cocky or anything like that. But I mean, look at what the 3 preserve the pits they've had. Nobody else has gone from the grant recipient to being part of the fellowship.
Hey, man. Hey, you got the accolades. Go ahead and talk it.
Yeah, like that's some special stuff. Like if that was not a sign from God saying, Nate, like what you're doing is special. You need to keep on doing this.
Yeah. And
then getting paired with my mentor being Brian Furman. That was like, that by itself was just it was just so special because I had known Brian before being selected for Preserve the Pit. We had actually met at a supper club in Chattanooga. I actually went out there to help him cook whole hog. That's how we.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I mean, that entire program, Kingsford, and I say Kingsford, but I want to be 100% honest, transparent, and give this man his flowers. Dr. Howard Conyers Jr., thank you for letting me be part of that program.
Absolutely.
Because he was the one that went to Kingsford with that idea.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He was the one that had the vision. Kingsford, I appreciate Kingsford. They're a great company. Absolutely love them. But Dr. Howard Conyers, he had the vision and he put the pen to the paper. So I just want to say thank you to Dr. Howard for that.
Yeah, respect. Totally. Honors, yeah.
So what's next for you, Nate?
Let's see. Next on the radar is I'm going to continue doing barbecue classes and barbecue demos in Durham. I've reached out to a cigar bar here, and I'm going to see about start doing some pop-ups there more frequently. I've been looking at trying to get another smoker. It's just, I don't know if I just haven't had the luck or I'm just being too picky by what I'm looking for, but I'm trying to find that beautiful pull behind smoker that just catches my eye, and it's like a little tear just kind of runs down the side of my cheek, and I'm just like, that's it. So I'm looking for that smoker, and just keep on working towards getting the food truck. That's the next step. Pop-ups and food truck. So
good deal, man. Well, I'm rooting for you. You know that.
I appreciate all your support, man.
Yeah, we are too, man.
Yeah, we are
definitely.
Too. I want to know about these classes and demos. Do you have a favorite thing to demo? And if so, why?
So I've only done 4 classes. So I would say out of the 4, the one that has been my favorite has been the brisket. And the reason why the brisket class is special to me is because, one, I feel like out of all the proteins, brisket is definitely my specialty. But it was just, it was the process of being able to teach people is what was really special to me. Because growing up as a kid, and this is kind of off topic, growing up as a child, like I suffered with a learning disability. So what may take somebody an hour to learn takes me like 3 hours to try to comprehend. So growing up, having a learning disability, being African American, in the South, that was hard. And then being able to grow up, find a passion for something that I understood thoroughly and be able to teach people, during that class, I remember I was like showing people, well, you want to trim it this way. You want to cut off this amount of fat. You want to make sure it's like aerodynamic. I remember just kind of standing back and being like, damn, like I'm teaching people. Like if you would have told me 10 years ago, like Nate, 10 years from now, you're going to be teaching barbecue classes to groups of like 15 people. I'd been like, no, like I can't teach other people because I don't understand like certain, like, because I have a difficulty teaching myself or learning myself. How could I teach other people? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was just a surreal moment. But yeah, brisket is my favorite class for right now. And that's just because the look of people's face whenever I try to explain something and it's like that light bulb goes off and they're like, whoa, like I understand what you mean. There's a lot out there whenever it comes to like how to prep, how to trim brisket. YouTube University is a great place to learn But they
Yes,
got
it
a
is.
lot of videos that kind of leave your head scratching, like, okay, like, know about that. So to be able to have strangers sign up for that class and, like, trust me, and not only trust me with what I'm telling, but being able to take that brisket, because the way that class is designed, it was they don't cook that brisket on site. We trimmed it, we seasoned it, we went through the anatomy of the brisket, and then they brought that brisket home with them, and then it was up to them to cook it. So it was all in their hands. So if the brisket didn't come out good, like, hey, can't blame me. It's on you. You know what I'm saying? But no, I mean, after getting all the reviews and people were like, oh my God, like, the brisket came out amazing. Like, it's tender. It wasn't dry. Like, thank you so much for your tips, like that. God, like, that made me feel so good. Made me feel really good. Just being able to teach people. It really did. So yeah. But for classes in the future, last we spoke, the next class we're going to be doing is going to be a seafood class. So we're probably going to be doing something like salmon, oysters,
Ooh.
maybe scallops. That's one class we talked about. And then obviously football season's coming up. So a few of the demos and classes there, we're going to be focusing more on like tailgating, whether it be like appetizers, entrees, or desserts. Those are some other ideas we kind of threw around. So we're talking about doing at least one class or demo a month right now.
So I got one more thing before I have to cut out. Nate, who is your favorite pitmaster that you've ever picked up to hang out with in North Carolina?
Oh, you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow.
I brought that up because I wanted to say that, man, I appreciate you doing that for me, showing me a great time. And I hope you got a lot from me because I always get a lot from you. And it was fun to conversate and hang out with somebody that I have so much in common with. And I hope you enjoyed yourself too while we were there hanging out and eating. And I appreciate lunch, man. Thank you very much. It was a good time. One of the highlights of my trip right there, man. It really was. I came back and told everybody about you, man, and how well you treated me, man. So I appreciate that, brother.
And I appreciate your time. You didn't have to reach out to me. I know you're a busy man, but just you reaching out to me, being like, hey, I'm in Nightdale. Let's grab something to eat. I was like, wait, like Joey Victorian? Nightdale wants to come eat with me? I was like, all right, man, cool. Man.
Yeah.
We've been knowing each other for a long time, man. So
yeah, but no, I mean, it's one thing to go back and forth through social media, but to actually, meet you in person, it's like, yeah.
I'm a little bit taller than people think, huh?
No, I knew you were a tall guy.
That's what I get. People come in here all the time. I didn't know you were that tall. Like, oh, okay. I don't know what to do with that, but okay.
No, I knew. I mean, just from you being on TV, I could tell, like, yeah, it's a tall guy.
Yeah. I had a great time, man. And we joked around just like this and I hope you find a whole ton of success. You have any questions for me? I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I'm an open book. Just because
I actually have a question for you.
You do have a question for me?
I do, yeah.
Okay, go.
So you did go to Windy City Smokeout this year,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Did you save anybody's life? Any CPR?
Not this time.
Not this time. Okay. Did they do about this?
Man. I actually got sick Friday night and ended up not even going Saturday or Sunday. Found out that my magnesium pills were making me sick. So I literally stayed in the Airbnb and just listened to the music from my room, which was across the street. No lives saved this time, so it was still all good, man.
Still got a few months left in the year. Who knows what'll happen? So
you never know, man. You never know.
Hey, Joey V, before you go, make sure you let the people know where to find you on the social medias, unless they were hiding under a rock and don't know who you are already.
Instagram at Joey Victorian or at Victorian's Barbecue. Same thing on Facebook.
I want to thank you for being our guest host tonight. And hey, the door's always open. We'd love to have you on anytime you're available. Anytime you're available.
I'm just glad to see Nate here too, and I appreciate everybody here. I got to cut out. I've got meat to trim, potatoes to peel, and all that other good stuff for tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for joining, man.
Time, Joey.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Later,
joining.
fellas.
Stay blessed.
Love y'all.
All right,
Take
man. Same back to you. Same back to you. Hey, and on that note, we've gone a little bit over time, over an hour as we usually do, but hey, it is time for us to talk about where to find us on the social since we crossed that bridge with Joey. Let's go around the horn first and let's go to our special guest, Nate. Hey, tell the people where to find it. First of all, before we do that, I wanted to ask you, what would the people expect when they follow you on your social media platforms? What type of vibe will they get from you?
Come to my social media, the vibe that you're gonna get is, I want to be positive, just positive vibes, and just let people know that, hey, like if you have a gift, like share it with people. Don't hide it. We all got gifts.
Yeah.
Don't ever be afraid to hide your gifts because we only live once. And, if you go to the grave and you're not able to, really give your gift, it's like, well, then what? Like, then what did you do with your life? It's kind of the way I look at it.
That's right.
My gift is barbecue. I want to use that gift to reach as many people as possible. But whenever it comes to my social media, again, like I said, just, teaching people about barbecue, mainly Creole barbecue, just because I feel like there's still a lot of people that really just don't know that Louisiana has a really good barbecue. Besides that, but, funny reels, easy recipes, and, just where you can get my, 80/20 Creole barbecue all-purpose rub on www.8020creolebarbecue.com.
All right. And where can they find you on the socials?
Social on Instagram, it is at Rollin, no G. It's Rollin Smoke 8020. On Facebook, it is 80/20 Creole Barbecue. And on what else? And on Twitter, it's 8020 Rub. I really gotta make sure all these names are the same. It's just pretty confusing now that I think about it. And then on TikTok, it is 8020 Rub. So yeah.
All right, man. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate you taking up the time to chop it up with us. And congratulations on the awards that you've been given. And, good luck to you in the future. We know you're going to, kill it. You're probably going to be on the board next year. Hey, somebody come for them. Keep doing your thing, man. Spreading love with the classes and everything. We really want to thank you for coming on and showing us some love.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for y'all's time. I really do. What you guys do is, really, really amazing. And I hope y'all are doing this for years and years to come. I can't wait for y'all to be on, HBO Max or something like the Pivot Podcast.
Hey,
Let's do it. Let's go. Hey, you ain't saying nothing but a
I'm
word.
just
Let's
saying,
talk
y'all
about
can be
it.
up there with the Pivot, man. Y'all can have Ron Clark one day. Like everybody. Fred Taylor. I mean, come on.
Holler at us, please. Hey, we welcome that. Thank you. Thank you for that. Man, that felt good. That felt good, man. Yes. Hey, man. Next up, we got T from T-Dub Barbecue. Tell them where to find you, man.
you can find me at T-Dub BBQ on all socials. It's tdub.bbq on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and then it's T-Dub-BBQ on YouTube.
Yeah. Them threads, man. I try.
Yeah, I don't thread much. I thread on my other account.
Don't thread much.
Yeah.
We ain't sewing. Sounds awkward. Just like saying you're on X. No, let's not do that.
Never thought about that.
Hey, wait a minute.
Twitter.
I'm on X.
All right. Good segue. Hey, Jeffrey Greer, tell them where to find you on social media.
Hey, those good people. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter. I think that's all of them. At Grill and Smoke BBQ.
All right. Hey, and you can find me anywhere you see the name Charlie Maverick. And I'll be in the comments of the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast on YouTube and sometimes Spotify. Leave a comment on Spotify. Let's try it out. Hey, and leave us a voice message. There's a link on the description on the Spotify feed, and just let us know how you feel. We could get you on. Hey, you never know. Give your feedback. Hey, so one more time, while I'm on that, please like, subscribe, and share on all your platforms. Tell your people about us. We try to give you all these great stories of these great pitmasters. We keep giving them to you. We want you to keep coming back. We love you. We really do, and appreciate you, because there would be no us without you. And just follow us and hit them notification bells, because we try to drop every Monday. You see the board up there if you're going on our channel. Every Monday, we try to keep delivering it to you. Hey, the only way we can. And for everybody out there, thank you for listening to another episode of the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. Thank you again for Nate Figaro for coming on and chopping it up with us. Hey, until next time, y'all be safe out there. And please don't burn yourself on the grill. Please.